Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing into the powerful ideas from Michael Gerber's classic, The E-Myth Revisited. We're going to figure out why so many passionate, hardworking people end up building a business that basically runs them right into the ground. So let's just dive right in with a pretty sobering number. Get this. According to official stats, a full half of all small businesses fail within the first 5 years. And it gets even worse. If you look 10 years down the road, only about a third of them are still around. But here's the real kicker. The reason for this huge failure rate, it's not what you think. It's not a lack of skill or passion, or even the people aren't working hard enough. Nope, it's a huge, fundamental misunderstanding about what a business even is. A trap that Gerber calls the E-Myth. Okay, so let's get right to it. What is this great lie? What's the one core assumption that puts so many businesses on the path to failure from the very beginning? The E-Myth, the E is for entrepreneurial, is this big story we tell ourselves, that great businesses are started by these amazing, visionary risk takers. But the reality, Gerber says, is that most are started by technicians. People who are just brilliant at what they do. We're talking about the baker whose cakes are a work of art, the plumber who can fix literally anything, the designer who has an incredible eye. They're masters of the craft, but that doesn't mean they're ready to run a business. And here's where it gets really interesting. This whole situation creates like a civil war inside the founder's head. To actually succeed, you have to juggle 3 totally different personalities, and they're all fighting for control. So first, you've got the technician. This is the doer, right? The part of you that just loves getting your hands dirty and lives completely in the present moment. Then there's the manager. This is the pragmatist, the part that craves order and loves to plan based on what's worked before. And finally, you've got the entrepreneur, the dreamer, the visionary who is always living in the future, asking what if. But here's the problem. That balance is almost always way, way off. For the typical founder, it's something like 70% technician. Think about that. The part of you that loves doing the work is running the whole show. And it's basically silencing the manager who's trying to organize things and the entrepreneur who's trying to dream up the future. So when you have this massive imbalance, it's not just stressful. It leads to this one single moment, a really impulsive decision that just kicks off a domino effect of problems. Gerber has a great name for this. He calls it the entrepreneurial seizure. It's that lightning bolt moment when a technician, totally fed up with their boss, thinks, hey, I can do this so much better on my own. It's this powerful, impulsive jump toward what they think is going to be freedom. And that big leap? It's fueled by this right here, the fatal assumption. It's the belief that just because you're an amazing baker, you automatically know how to run a baking business. But here's the hard truth. Knowing how to do the work and knowing how to build a business that does the work, well, those are 2 completely different universes. And mixing them up is the fatal error. And the result of that one mistake? Oh, it's devastating. You run away from your old boss just to create a new one for yourself, the business. You end up working longer hours for less pay with way less freedom than you ever had before. You haven't built a business. You've built yourself a really demanding, all-consuming job. Okay, so is it all doom and gloom? Is there a way out of this trap? Gerber says absolutely yes, but it requires a huge shift in how you think. And it's probably the most famous idea in the entire book. And this right here illustrates the whole solution. You have to stop working in the business and start working on the business. See the difference? Working in it is being the technician. You're baking the pies, you're fixing the pipes, you're an employee. But working on it, that's when you're the owner. You're designing the systems, you're planning the strategy, you're building a machine that can eventually run without you. So, how do you actually build that machine? Well, Gerber provides a blueprint for it, a path to real freedom. He calls it the franchise prototype. This quote just nails the idea perfectly. Ray Kroc didn't sell hamburgers. He sold a business system. The product wasn't the food. The product was the business itself, a perfectly repeatable model that delivered the exact same result every single time. So, what it all boils down to is this one crucial idea. Systems run the business. And the people? The people run the systems. Your business has to become system dependent, not people dependent. And it especially cannot be dependent on you. The mindset you have to adopt is this. Build your business from day one as if you were going to franchise 5,000 copies of it. So what does that really mean? It means it has to provide consistent, predictable value to every single customer. It has to be operated by people with the lowest necessary level of skill, meaning the system is the genius, not the person. It has to be a place of impeccable order. And everything, I mean everything, has to be documented in operations manuals. It's your instruction guide for success. Now, building a system like this might sound overwhelming, but the good news is Gerber lays out a clear step-by-step program for how to actually transform your business. And here it is, the 7-step business development program. And I want you to notice something really important here. Look at where it starts. It doesn't start with a business plan. It starts with you. Step 1 is your primary aim. What kind of life do you want this business to give you? Only then do you create a strategic objective, which are the standards for the business. From there, you design your future organizational strategy, an org chart for the company you want to have, not the one you have now. Then you build the systems for management, for your people, for your marketing, and finally, you tie it all together with your system strategy. It's a roadmap to get you from chaos to control. You know, when you follow this process, what you're really doing is allowing yourself to evolve. You start out as that technician, trapped by the very work you love to do. But by working on your business, you transform into a true entrepreneur, someone who is liberated, in control, and actually free to lead. Which brings us to the final critical question that you really have to ask yourself. Is your business working for you, or are you working for your business? Because your answer to that question will determine the future of your company, and more importantly, the future of your own freedom.